Thank you. Deputy Terence Flanagan is the next question.
Corla, the question to the Minister is just to ask him to outline his plan, as recently reported in the media, to help the coping classes, or those who are classed as the middle income, who are earning between 32,800 and 70,000 per annum, and to ask Minister, does that definition include households, or is it to do with those earning single income?
Thank you. Minister, number 7.
I'd like to thank Deputy Flanagan for his question. As the Deputy may be aware, I am of the view that a fair, efficient and competitive income tax system is essential for economic growth and job creation. I have long said that the burden of income tax system in Ireland is too high, and that I would seek to reduce it as soon as it was prudent to do so. The identification of the squeezed middle as those earning between 30,000 and 70,000 was an important step. In Budget 2015, I reduced the top rate of income tax from 31% to 40%. I also extended the standard rate band on which income tax is chargeable at the lower rate, 20% by €1,000. These measures ensure that all those earning in excess of 32,800 per annum will benefit from the income tax changes in the budget. In addition, I reduced the two lower rates at which USC is payable from 2% and 4% to 1.5% and 3.5% respectively. This ensures that those on lower incomes who do not pay income tax also benefit from the budget. Furthermore, I also increased the threshold before which the 7% rate of USC becomes payable to 17,576, so that those on the minimum wage will now only be liable to a maximum 3.5% rate of USC. I also retained the exemption from the top rates of USC for medical card holders and the over 70s. With incomes that do not exceed 60,000. These individuals will now only be liable to pay a USC rate of 3.5%, down from 4%. Ireland already has one of the most progressive income tax systems in the developed world. To preserve that progressivity, the budget also contained measures to limit the maximum benefit of the tax package to approximately €14 per week for any individual taxpayer, which means that those with very high incomes will only benefit to the same extent as those with more modest incomes. The changes announced in the budget came into effect last month and have resulted in a reduced tax bill for all those paying income tax under and or.
Thank you, Minister. The rest of the reply will appear in the official report. Deputy Flanagan.
The Minister for his response, and just to ask you, Minister, what steps are you taking to keep costs down for all households, the steps that you and the Minister for Public Expenditure are taking regarding state-controlled costs, and to ask you, I suppose, or to state basically the fact that households, and particularly employed people, are paying obviously huge taxes and new taxes in recent years, such as the property tax and the water charge, as well as the dreaded USC for those that are working. And there are two very expensive costs. The most expensive costs the households have as outgoings, and they would be on childcare costs, and also then related to mortgage debt and mortgage arrears. So can I ask, Minister, what measures are you taking to target and to specifically help those people with high childcare costs? And in recent times, the OECD have said that a family in Ireland with 2 children, 40% of their average wage is spent on childcare costs, over $2,000 a month, in fact, to keep a baby and a toddler in childcare facilities. So what are you doing specifically to target that, Minister?
Well, there's a series of supplementary questions there put by the Deputy. The government target for procurement costs is to save 150 million this year, so that's a very significant saving on procurement. The Deputy would be aware that the cost of energy has come down dramatically. The budget was built on Brent oil at $105 a barrel, or €105 a barrel, and it's down below 45 now, 43 or 44. And the government's policy is to ensure that these savings are passed on to the consumer, and the same would apply to heating oil. On the issue of childcare, it's one of the issues which I think is putting a structural obstacle in place of full participation by women in the workforce, and it's something I'm examining in my department at present. But of course, the primary responsibility is with the Minister for Children, and I've had discussions with him already on the issue. But it's easy to see the problem. It's difficult enough to arrive at a solution, but we're working on it.
Deputy Flanagan.
As you're aware, Ireland is the most expensive country in the world in relation to childcare costs, so it should be something that you should be targeting. And I think this government and previous governments have failed the people and the ordinary working people by not doing anything targeted to help people with childcare costs. But regarding mortgage debt and those who are on variable interest rates, there seems to be discrimination, Minister, with some of our banks, where they're charging new customers a lower interest rate than those who are already existing customers on a variable mortgage interest rate. So wondering if you can look at that, if there's anything further you can do on that. And I suppose just give hope to people. That's what people want, particularly with all the high taxes that people have paid in recent years. They're really squeezed.
Thank you. Minister.
I mean, my commitment to assist the squeezed middle, as they're described, the instrument I have, policy instrument I have, is the taxation system. And I have described to you what I have done in terms of income tax and USC reductions in the budget. And I also said in my budget speech that I would follow the same line of policy in the next budget, subject to having the resources to do so. You're bringing up a whole lot of other issues now, which are not in the same space. And while they're very important, many of the issues you're raising are the responsibility of other ministers. So I think you have material for a whole series of parliamentary questions.
Thank you.